So, dudes, everyone is still mad at Rainbow Six Siege. So, what does that mean about us? What does that mean about me and you watching content on my channel? Well, it means that the only type of video that I'll ever get to make money off of on this channel forever is a video complaining about Ubisoft or Siege. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch my boy Poxonlox explain everything that's wrong with the game. And that's the video.
That the whole game is just terrible at the highest ranks, right? So Shield Guard was supposed to come with Siege, and the most demoralizing nail in promises that have not been lived up to. They have oversold and overhyped everything, and it's got to the point where I just don't believe what they say anymore. And the most demoralizing nail in the coffin for me was Shield Guard that came in Siege X. Cheater.
Pox leads with Shield Guard because it is the most pressing issue, at least for the game on PC. I know that the Jinxie stance is, oh, you know, cheaters, it's not really a big deal on console where the main player base is, you know, PC is kind of like a sweat fest. It's a smaller community. That's not the reason the game is dying. If the cheater thing had gotten figured out to the point that it needed to be figured out, PC could have kept the ship afloat, right? Even if there were parts of the ship that were damaged, it wouldn't sink, right? Because PC was that final layer. It was that final element of the foundation that could have kept it together despite the rest of the structure kind of having problems, right? Or collapsing. And the moment that PC competitive, right, the bedrock of the game, became unplayable because of the cheater bullshit, it doesn't matter at that point, right? Like, Ubisoft can make the prettiest, most well-balanced, most exciting content, and it won't fucking matter because the crux of the game, the reason that people want to play it, the reason that people are interested in it, the reason that people tune in to these esports events, the reason they tune into Invite, to all these majors, if that world is so inaccessible to them because cheaters have ruined the experience, nobody's going to want to play. Nobody's going to want to learn, and nobody's going to want to play. And it all hinges on the anti-cheat. Like, it literally just all hinges on the anti-cheat. This is the one thing that Ubisoft had to get right, and it sucks that they lost this battle, but they did. They lost. They lost.
Have been ruling the game for over 2 years, like non-stop for 2 years, maybe a small portion in between there where you get a couple weeks of cheater-free gameplay, and outside of that, the whole game is just terrible at the highest ranks, right? So Shield Guard was supposed to come with Siege X and be the ultimate, like, cheater defeater, and turns out the cheats were live and active on, like, the second day of the new season of Siege X. And also, cheats reached an all-time high that season because the OBS cheat was a thing, so people could do it with just OBS as well as, like, all these other cheats. So it just stacked up to a point where, like, cheats are worse than ever in a season where they're supposed to be non-existent, right? Or at least, like, way down from what they were. Siege X came with what I would call...
Nobody gives a shit about the engineering architecture of Shield Guard just as a concept. And I'm not... I don't know. I know the tone might have made it seem like I was arguing with Pox. I wasn't. I was just, you know, I'm just pissed off. Making anti-cheat almost like content, the way that it's like presented at these press releases, right? Whenever they say to the press, whenever they say to the public with their official statements, like, welcoming Rainbow Six Shield Guard, cool graphic. I'm a guy on R6 Shield Guard, and the reason that Shield Guard is going to Shield Guard is because we're going to do 3 different things. Number 1, kick cheaters in the butt. Like, we make this, like, whole, like, thing out of it. We make a production out of it. I've never agreed with this stance. Like, it's probably the one thing with Ubisoft's communication strategy that I've never really agreed with, and I've always kind of concealed it. I think making anti-cheat into, like, a produced, like, package. The main reason I've never agreed with it is because if you fuck up and you don't deliver, you just look foolish. You look foolish and you look lost. You look like you have no awareness of the urgency. You look like you're not keeping it together. And it just looks unprofessional, and you look foolish. And right now, Ubisoft, after doing all this with Shield Guard and saying, "Here comes Shield Guard," blah, 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 they look foolish. And that kind of reputational damage lasts forever with some people, with most people. So we've lost players that are never going to play again as a result of them screwing this up.
Dual Front was the new mode, which required a ton of work, a massive new map design, and having the same operators interacting on different sides at the same time. The concept is crazy, and I still think the mode is the best arcade mode that the game has had, but at the end of the day, that's it. It's an arcade mode, right? It's kind of just this extension.
Spoiler alert, Pox goes a little hard on Dual Front in this video. I actually like Dual Front a lot, and he says so as well. His stance on it is a little bit more draconian than mine. I don't think Dual Front was a waste of time, but I think that Dual Front coinciding with CGX failing to accomplish what it needed to do is just really puts salt in the wound. Dual Front is something that you put out when everything is everything's going well. It was not a good idea for them to focus on Dual Front to the extent that they did if they were not confident that the anti-cheat situation was going to get rectified. And if they were confident that the anti-cheat situation was going to get rectified, I don't know why. I don't know how that happened. That seems silly to me, that anybody in the building should be confident about the anti-cheat. I can't believe anybody would ever be confident about the anti-cheat at any point, from the art team to the anti-cheat team. I don't understand how you could ever feel confident about it at any fucking point in time, given what we've seen recently.
Of the main game with similar pacing, a similar style.
If you were confident enough to release Dual Front, that's indicative of other problems.
In my mind, it's just a worse version of Core Siege. This was the biggest feature of CGX, and it didn't impact the main game at all. Then we also got modernized maps, but only 5 of them. It's another half-prepared release of content that is still lingering out of production season after season. But we'll call each new modernized map that's added new content, despite the maps feeling nearly exactly the same. I'll be the first to admit, the original 5 maps, I was really hyped about it. I was excited. I was pushing.
The new maps look great. The new maps are really cool. I'm really happy that they decided. Sorry, Pox. I'm really happy that they decided to do this. But again, this should not have been marketed like brand new content. It should not have been put into the arena and packaged in such a way to make it seem like we were getting a new map. It should not have been marketed with the same level of urgency and with the same level of pomp and circumstance. This should have been something that, you just kind of like release on the side of each of the balance changes saying, hey, by the way, we're updating the graphics on each of the maps. It should not have been made into a focal point of your campaign strategy, if you will, because it's a graphical update. Like, yeah, graphical updates are nice, but it's not new content, man. Like, Siege is about the bones. Siege is about the bones of the maps, learning the angles, learning the geometry of the map, what positions you need to be in order to make certain plays depending on the circumstances. That's Siege. And when you make a new map, it opens up a million different possibilities. Look how many different possibilities we've opened up on Lair. Lair is one of the smartest additions that Ubisoft has managed to do in recent memory because it is a competitively viable map with a lot to dig into. It has a ton of replayability. It has a ton of different avenues to approach it from. It's not completely solved. Just one map a year can make a huge difference. And we spent all these resources on Dual Front and I guess, whatever the graphics team was doing here. Again, like, I don't dislike Dual Front. I think Dual Front is a very fun mode. It was like right now was just not the time for it. And the fact that they misread this timing this badly is indicative of other serious issues with Ubisoft's decision-making lately.
Ubisoft, take more money and put more resources into versa. But you can be like, hey, Ubisoft, take more money and put more resources into this team, like anti-cheat, for example. This is what I presume is going on now with them saying, oh, we're putting more resources into anti-cheat. But we don't know really for sure what that means because they won't go into detail because like, oh, we can't.
And nobody cares. Nobody cares what that means. Nobody knows what that means and nobody cares because we're still dealing with the problem. This isn't our job. This is your job to figure out. We support your product. We buy your skins. We go to your events. This is your job. This is what you're getting paid to do. We are supporting you so that you can figure the shit out. And I'm not blaming devs specifically. Okay, I want to make that very clear. I am not blaming the people that are just trying to do their fucking job at Ubisoft. I am blaming corporate for not allocating the resources that these guys need to do this job.
And let the cheaters know, which like, I get it. The only problem is that they really could just be saying that for all we know. And here's the thing too, like even with Shield Guard for Siege X, they probably already did that. They probably actually did invest more money into the anti-cheat team, but they just lost the battle, right? Okay.
And so what Pox is going to explain here is how I kind of phrased it, which is the perfect way. Like, this is how you can tell Pox is a pretty smart guy, because this is essentially what has taken place here, okay, at an abstract level. It's an arms race. There's no amount of effort that is seen in the development of the cooler thing, of the weapon, right, to combat cheaters, until the W is gained, right? Until the advantage is gained.
Okay, so the case could be that Ubisoft went into a war against 1,000 trained soldiers of cheaters, only to bring 100 civilians with pocket knives, right? Even if they doubled their resources in anti-cheat, even if they doubled their army to 200 civilians, they're still gonna get their cheeks clapped by the 2,000 cheaters or 1,000 cheaters or whatever. They're just not gonna win the war. But from our perspective as players, we don't even see what's going on. We just see Ubisoft lost the war. Cheaters have won. We are cooked still, right?
What Pox is explaining here is basically how any kind of arms race works, right? 3,000 spears versus like 800, I don't know, bolt action rifles. And they're still losing, like, oh no, well, I guess we need 6,000 spears. It doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you invest in your bad architecture if your architecture is still bad. We won't see a moderate change. The point at which Ubisoft needs to get their anti-cheat to work is not going to be like a gradual, slow, like over time, this kind of battle of attrition with cheaters. One day they're going to fucking figure it out, or they're not. And right now they haven't figured it out.
Ubisoft is trying to constantly please everyone all at the same time. And if there's anything I've learned, it's that trying to make everyone happy makes nobody happy. I feel like most people already know this. Here's the thing, Ubisoft. Rainbow Six Siege is your game, and you can do what you want. That doesn't mean what they do is good and the best choice for them, but they can do it. They can do it. I just think Ubisoft has the framework completely backwards. Look at voice moderation, for example. We can't even swear in an 18+ game because Papa Ubisoft says, that's mean. You can't say mean stuff in our game. Are you serious? A lot of people take video.
The voice chat thing is like... the voice chat thing is part of my Siege radicalization arc, bro. I cannot believe that they let this one get by. I really just do not know what the fuck is going on in that building. I don't know how these decisions are getting made and who's in charge of what and where things are going. If you say what the fuck in a video game where cops and special forces guys and anywhere, everywhere in between with guns are doing a fucking training exercise in a kill house, what are we doing? Have a little bit of fucking perspective. Come on, man. I don't get it. We added this guy Deimos. Deimos showed up and shot the director of the program in the chest. His whole shtick is like trying to get rid of every single special forces unit like in the world He's like on some fucking, I don't know, he's like on some anarchist shit, like redneck anarchism. I'm worn out with Ubisoft isms. I'm exhausted. It's a shooter game. It's an M-rated game. It's not for kids. If people being mean in game pisses you off, mute them or talk shit back. That's what I do.
Constantly appeal to everyone, and it's destroying the efficiency of their development. There's no clear path, there's no clear identity for the game anymore from Ubisoft's side. It's just like a blend of slop that they're constantly trying to navigate through season after season. Think about it. Are there any changes that they've taken away from the game that they later on put back in the game and then labeled as new content? Remember when Defenders had ACOG scopes? What about when we got rid of those ACOG scopes and added 1.5s instead? Oh, and then remember when they got rid of the 1.5s and 2 times and then added ACOG scopes back and went, new content, voila! Oh, here we are again. They took them all away again. What are we doing, dude? Where are we going? And don't even get me started on Striker and Sentry. These guys are just...
The ACOG thing, I just don't even... that was the point at which I officially, like, I mentally checked out of Ubisoft's balancing vision. Because it screamed just such intense lack of confidence in their decision-making and in their product. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the whole like, oh, well, the data said yada yada. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. You want to know why I don't care? Because my Stream Deck doesn't work now. I don't know why. So I can't just hit the button. The reason that I don't care about what your spreadsheet says is because I'm a player. I'm not a dev. Okay? The information that you give me and what you give your community, which if they're too stupid to interpret it correctly, why are we doing it? We're wasting everybody's time. But the data that you give your audience is, here are the pick rates, not the win deltas, right? You highlight that, but you have explicitly made multiple points to say the pick rate is the reason why we're nerfing this character. I have never, ever, once in my life, ever agreed with pick rate balancing. It is a flawed model for balancing. It doesn't make any sense. It does not contextualize competitive environments. It does not account for operators that are low on the win delta who get played in competitive occasionally because of their tools that they bring to the table. Raora is considered bad, but a smart Siege player understands that she's not bad because she can be used to create a pathway for an entry, which is something that G2 has been doing quite recently to strong effect. If we looked at the ranked deltas to determine how the game was balanced, we wouldn't be seeing half of the fucking competitive games that we've been watching. I don't give a fuck if somebody's too dumb to play Doc correctly. If somebody's playing Doc in Europe or in the fucking ocean when they should be on site, that's not my problem. It is my problem in the context of the game, but that doesn't mean that you have to ruin my gameplay experience because somebody else is doing something wrong. Affect the other elements of the sandbox. Incentivize people to use those elements in your sandbox. Or if it's not bothering anybody, if it's not overpowered, if you look at the data and you see, does this have a statistical outlier worth of effectiveness? Can we look at this on paper and say, is this more effective to the point of being unfair? If it doesn't cross that threshold, don't fucking touch it. Don't touch it. Add more stuff. Add other things. If you don't like Doc playing off a site, add more healing characters that incentivize anchoring with healing abilities on the site. You buff Thunderbird. Thank you. Add more. We only have 2 healers. Add another healer. Add a more powerful healing gadget. What if you had a healing gadget that could act like a shield? What if you had like a shield, an ADS, and a healing gadget at the same time? I know that sounds overpowered. Maybe we can nerf it later. Just do something, right? Don't affect other people's gameplay because some people are playing it incorrectly. I don't care what a dumb Siege player does. I know what I do. Why are you affecting my experience? And this doesn't have anything to do with Zof Withstand, right? Withstand was a dumb mechanic. It had to go. But that doesn't mean that you can make like a dozen other bad decisions because you made one good one. In fact, from a PR point of view, if we're talking politics, if Ubisoft is running for office, the optics of the Zofia Withstand, that's what people are upset about. That's why people are mad. It's got nothing to do with whether it was a good decision or not. It's the fact that they continue to do unpopular decisions and they just sit up there on the top of their tower and they just look down at all of us plebs and they go, they don't know what they really want. What they really want is balance. What they really want is a balanced game, not a fun one. Name another competitive game that has this level of constant back and forth with the devs over their fucking, like, the design fundamentals, like the thematic approach that they want to take. Counter-Strike doesn't have this issue. Valorant, I couldn't tell you about Valorant. I really shouldn't talk out of my ass. It's just sad. It's just sad to see it. It's just sad to see the game in this state. Check out Pox's video in the description. I'll leave a link to it if you want to watch the full thing. I wasn't going to react to his whole thing. I was just going to do what I could in an hour's worth of time when I get out of work. Still got to go to work tomorrow. But this is the kind of content that we can upload on the channel without, just without it being like, without it getting like 5 views total. So is that healthy? Is it healthy for me to just, embrace the suck with this channel and just kind of admit defeat, I guess? Like, okay, I guess the only thing we can do algorithmically is complain about Siege. Because YouTube won't fucking push anything else. I can't upload any other kind of video. It won't push it to a new audience. YouTube looks at my videos and goes, this is from a Siege channel. Well, I don't know what am I supposed to do with this? I love big tech. I love them. There's no issues. There's no issues with the way algorithms and social media work. It's fine. Nothing to be alarmed about. I'm able to do content online because of direct donations from my supporters. Check out my Buy Me a Coffee page in the description. Please consider becoming a channel member. For just $1, you can join into my community game nights. We're having a Battlefield community game night November 1st. I'd love to see you there. Take care.